Recently, I had a strange dream where I was the reason for my stress and anxiety, and if I didn't make changes, I would die. Now, it was a strange feeling, but at the same time, it was like, you know what? I know that I'm responsible for my life, the choices that I make, and the way that I'm directing my energy. If I were to take this warning seriously and really honor the messages and opportunities that this is giving me, then I could really change my life and do something entirely different and really just connect with myself and my life on a new level. And so I was like, all right, work has been a source of a lot of stress and frustration for me. And why should I allow how other people are, what they do, how they operate, what they expect of me, whatever it may be, to get me down? When at the end of the day, I'm doing my job. Like, I'm doing what's asked of me, I'm doing what's needed. And if I am able to get into a position where I feel autonomy and engage, then I'll be able to step up and do more of the adding value and the things that come to mind that I just don't have the energy for doing because it's just like I'm so annoyed and frustrated. So I'm Latia. I'm a data engineer by day, and I have an LLC that I'm figuring out. And recently, I have been making those changes at work. And something interesting is that one of my coworkers wanted to know why I didn't ask them for something over going to the person that I asked for what I needed. Now, my first response was just like, I was just shocked, like, why do you care? It's weird. That's like childish. Like, what are you, 5? Because it's like, if I ask someone that I'm comfortable with, obviously I'm comfortable with them and I'm not comfortable with you. Like, let's go for the obvious here. But then I was thinking about it, and it was just like, all right, if you're willing to learn and receive feedback on why you're not someone that I would confide in, I'm willing to dig deep and give you real, genuine answers. Because it's an opportunity for me to express my truth and what it is that holds me back from expressing that truth, which at its core level is just you've denied my existence, humanity, and experiences, so clearly you ain't nothing. Like, I'm not gonna mess with that. So I went to the person that I did ask for the help, and I was like, you know what, this person is curious about why I didn't go to them, and I'm willing to be honest and have that conversation. And we were talking, and I was like, well, I can keep giving my power away to this job and getting emotionally invested too much, being stressed out and frustrated, or I can choose to not let it bother me. I prefer to be the type of person who honors my unchanging core, that divine positive energy and love that I know is within me, and to operate from that place where it's just like, you know what, this external stuff is stupid, but internally I'm set and solid, so I don't have to worry about it, because I don't want my character and how I see myself to come into question due to a job or any circumstance. I am way too feisty and opinionated and just individual, independent thinker for that kind of behavior. So as we were having this conversation, the book Who Moved My Cheese was recommended, and I look it up and I'm like, all right, cool, like I'm down for reading a book. It's a short read, sounds interesting. So I go through my work day, I end up staying a bit late, having different conversations with people, and at the end of the day, I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to Barnes & Noble. I'm gonna get the book. I want to see what this book is about. Like, let's go, let's do this. So I walk down the stairs leaving the office, and there's this guy, and his haircut looks nice, and it looks like his face might look nice too. And I was just like, oh, excuse me. And he's like, yes. And I was like, I really like your haircut and your face. You just look good. Like, nice aesthetic, man. And he's like, oh, thanks. And he's walking. I'm like, man, I forgot how good it feels to compliment people and let them know how beautiful they are. It feels so good. And he looked really handsome. Also had a wedding ring on. I peeped those things. But it was just like a brief, like, appreciation moment. And so I am going into Barnes & Noble. I'm going up the escalator, and the woman in front of me sneezes. And I'm like, oh, bless you. And she looks back and she's like, oh, wow, thank you. And I'm just like, oh, no problem. Like, and I was thinking about it. And as I was like going up the escalator, I was like, wow, I am very grateful to be alive and human. And it's a little bit sad that saying bless you is something that elicits such a positive response. I'm grateful I could elicit such a positive response, And what if humans really are just this big family where we don't realize that we have all these people around us that we can confide in or talk to? So I'm just high vibing, like feeling really good after this, because I was just like, wow, life is amazing. So I go to the bookshelves and I'm looking around, and I'm looking for Who Moved the Cheese, but I forget who the author is, and I'm just like, I assume it's gonna be in the business section just because I have a feeling. So I'm looking around, I see High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard, and someone borrowed my copy, and I'm like, ooh, I could buy another. And it's like, nah, you've read it before. Let's not keep staying on it. I have a high performance coach. It's not necessary that I continue reading the same information. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll hold back. I'll be patient. So then I see a book on coaching, what it is to coach. And I kind of flip through it. Talks about the difference between a therapist, a counselor, a friend, a teacher, a coach. And I'm like, I find this could be useful because I would like to do coaching, and I always like understanding the distinctions between the different roles. So then I see The Art of War for Women, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, sounds great. About how you can get what you want without confrontation. Although I'm kind of confrontational, I'm also very not confrontational. It's confusing. And then there's this book called Spiritual is Business that was beside that one. So I'm like, all right, 3 books, we good. And I'm like, just kidding. None of these are what I came for, so I put them all back. Then I pick up Who Moved My Cheese. But that one was funny because I picked up a different book. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. And I'm like, wait, pause. Let's go on Slack, see what the book was called and who it's by. So I like look on Slack, see the book. I look up, it's right there. And I'm like, oh, who moved it? There we go. Then I'm like, I was watching a book on watching a video on persuasion from Brendon Burchard, and he talks about how to win friends and influence people. So I'm like, you know what? I've been hearing about this book for years. If he says it's good, and I finally read The Power of Habit, that was good. So I'm like, this has to be good. It's tried and true. So I get that book, I pick it up, and I'm just looking around because I'm a book addict. I'm addicted. I love reading. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So I'm just browsing around, and this guy is like, oh, that book's so good. I read it. And I'm just like, oh yeah, like what did you get from it? So then we start having a conversation, and we're talking about things, and he's like, oh, well, what makes you interested in this? And I'm like, well, I'm building a business, and I'm feeling it's going to be based around the stress and anxiety that we deal with. Likely that comes up in relationships, because like, if I were a hermit and living by myself in a world where there were no other people, like let's just say for whatever reason I'm bubble girl and all I can do is like read books or do things in my space, I'd be okay. I'm like, I got this. It's people who create stress and drama, because now I have to compare myself to them, and am I providing what they need, and all this other stuff. That's where stress in a lot of relationships come from, because we may or may not know ourselves individually, but once we're in relationship with other people, that's when insecurities show up. That's when all your faults and problems become problems, because by yourself it doesn't matter. It's like, hey, just stop doing that. Whereas with another person, you never know what may trigger them and what they're dealing with, and then you never know what they'll trigger within you as well. It's a two-way street. And I feel like that's one of the big challenges with communication, is that we forget it's 2 people engaging with each other. And not only 2 people, but all of their baggage, all of their history, experiences, their likes, their dislikes. There's so much more to people than meets the surface, but it's easy to keep it casual. So, talking to this guy, and he talks about how him and his girlfriend are going through coaching and they're doing these things. And then his girlfriend comes, and it happens to be the lady that I said bless you to on the escalator. So then we're just all 3 of us having a chat and having fun, and it's flowing, and it was just like a great moment. And I ended up buying a lot of books. So Who Moved My Cheese, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Relationshiponomics, People Communicate Without Communicating, Without Connecting, by John Maxwell. There was Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I got a workbook and other workbook from Napoleon Hill around Think and Grow Rich. I have the Kindle version, and so this is like physical copy where I can actually practice the tools. I don't know if that's it. It feels like it might be, but I'm like, maybe I'm forgetting something. It was a lot of books. And so I read Who Moved My Cheese last night, and I was just like, ah, oh, yeah, that's great. I like this. And I've started reading Outwitting the Devil. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this book. And he talks about how so many things, but Emerson comes up in it, and I was like, I don't know, I think Emerson was okay. I feel like I like Thoreau a little better, but who knows. And then I was like, no, I believe it was Ralph Waldo Emerson who wrote The American Scholar, where he talks about, are you going to be a thinking man or a parrot of other man's thinking? And I read this in high school, and I was like, I am going to be a thinking man. I want to think for myself, be a critical thinker, synthesize this information that I'm getting, apply it to my life. And even as I was reading about the difference between a drifter and non-drifter in this book, I was like, I have some drifter tendencies. I'm mostly not a drifter, and I have an opportunity to really get focused and create what I want in my life, because the people that I truly deeply envy are those people who know what they want and they get it. So those people that I know where it's a done deal, they say it, it's done, and I know it. I have that ability within myself, and I have done it on multiple occasions, and I know that there's something that's stopping me from having just perfect harmony with my word and what I desire and what I want and creating effectively. And so I know I'm on a mission where I am going to build an empire. Yep, empire. And I'm going to work on myself and my mind and taking myself to that next level and finding the resources and people to connect with who can help me grow and inspire. So another book that I'm remembering that I didn't mention was How to Talk to Yourself, or something like that. But it's related to Outwitting the Devil, where we are our own biggest enemies, and getting clear on that and creating solutions to that. So I know I have a lot of negative energy, negative self-talk, things that I do that aren't helpful. And it was really, I guess, synchronistic, to use the jargon, that as I've been talking about, I'm ready to take control of my emotions at work. I'm not going to let my feelings and frustrations get in the way of me doing my job and doing what I have to do. And I'm going to take the opportunities to connect and educate people when they want them to do so. And how now I have books in my possession where it's all about change and embracing it and understanding that your emotions don't matter. Like, if you want to get something done, just do it. Don't let these feelings stop you, or these thoughts, because a lot of times we think things that hold us back. So share this if you found it interesting. Comments, let me know what you're thinking, and subscribe if you're not. I love talking. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.